Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock.
My name is Danny.
And we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Welcome back to Home Dad Chat. I hope you're all having a great day. I got Danny here with me, and we're going to have some fun talking about just some, some random stuff, but at the same time, some very important stuff. How you doing,
Random's
Danny?
always good. Random. I'm random. That's how I am. That's me.
Good deal, man.
Can't remember what day of the week it is. Nothing.
Well, I'm still kind of on a high from last week's guest we had with John Francis on. That was awesome getting to talk to him and count down the days to Father's Eve. So hopefully those who listen to it, maybe it spurred them on to get a hold of John and maybe host a small event in their location. So,
well, I will say it has helped me convince myself to go out to Minneapolis for Father's Eve.
Nice.
So I'm going to drive out there. I may go actually the day before.
Ooh.
I may just drive out and find a cheap place to sleep and spend Friday night and just Saturday, just vacation. And then, but probably not. I don't know how cheap it is, but actually I got Eric Forsberg. No, Eric Schoberg. Eric Forsberg's a different guy. Sorry, Eric. Eric Schoberg. I'm really tired. Is gonna let me sleep over. We're gonna have a sleepover on Saturday night. It's cool.
There you go. I mean, well, if they're already doing the sleepover at the brewery, like John was talking about, I mean, it's spending all night at the brewery. So I guess
let's
that makes
go.
Sense.
Yeah. I asked him. I said, it's not going to mess up your Father's Day like morning or anything, is it? Because I can get up early and get out, but I don't want to cut and run, just as soon as, because it's kind of impolite to just take off. And, I said, but if anything, there'll be two dads there. That's like way more Father's Day, man. I mean, come on. It's by making it better, right? I don't know if he's going to fall for that one. I don't think his kids are going to fall for that one either.
Probably not. Although your kids are probably going to be like, sweet, we are out of it. We get out of it for they
get to sleep in too.
Yeah,
they don't have to make me breakfast or anything. It's just like,
it's all good. Hey, you can go have a nice warm breakfast somewhere on your way home.
Yeah. Somewhere in Minneapolis. Yeah. Because I will say that the territory between Stevens Point, Wisconsin and Minneapolis, Minnesota, there's not a lot there. There's a lot of land and it's very pretty, but not a lot of, hey, let's stop and get ain't no Waffle House. I'm just going to say that.
Well, but is there even, but here's the thing. So on Mother's Day, typically some restaurants, mom gets a meal free. Do they do that for dad? I don't even
No, I
think
don't think
that's
so.
even a possibility.
No.
Although I feel like steakhouses probably go out of business if they did.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm kind of okay with that. I really, no, I grew up, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but respecting and loving my mother much more so than my father. And not because my father was unloving, but because my father told me, you respect that woman. That's your mother. You love her. You show her, and so, and she was kind of the person that kind of raised me by herself. So those two things, I'm like, yeah, I don't need a Father's Day at a restaurant. I'm all right.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it then. Definitely.
I find it very, very difficult to do things for myself. I balk at it. Even if I plan it, it's really, really hard. So what I did is last year on Father's Day, at the end of the day, I wrote down all the stuff that I wish had happened. Wouldn't have been cool if this, and it wasn't much, but basically it was, I want somebody to make me dinner. So I've got a grocery list. I'm going to buy the ingredients. I'm going to have everything ready. I'm going to tell them how to cook it, and let's go. Just feed me. Let's have a dinner together. And I have to say that's probably the best thing for me, because my love language, as it were, is acts of service. So if I can get somebody to do something for me, if I can let them do something for me, because that's even more difficult than doing it for myself. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to Father's Day.
That's cool.
And Father's Eve. Yeah.
I think for me, like, I enjoy for Father's Day just getting away by myself doing something, whether it be like, there's a lot of disc golf courses here in town. So like in the past, like I've been like, hey, I'm going to go play disc golf for a few hours or whatever. And it's just me getting away to go do that, which is nice. Or going for a bike ride. But I like the element that you're talking about there about having food cooked for you.
Right.
That's awesome. Like I would love to come back from doing that to a, surf and turf dinner, some steak and lobster would be pretty awesome.
Even if they bought it. Even if they made, like, if they went out and got it or they had it delivered, even, I don't care. Just that it's that something I prefer home cooked. Sure. I just do. Sure. And my wife cooks a good steak. So it becomes steak, baby, some potatoes, big old salad, all the things. And now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. But, well, I'm hoping that, if there's any loved one of mine that's listening in, that, maybe that will strike a chord with them.
Yeah. And, I'm just going to say this because this is what I do. I rarely tell my wife what I want her to do or what I need or what I want. I just expect her to know it. I just kind of expect her to know it because I know what she wants and needs, because that's my personality. But it ain't hers. She needs a list. She needs a reminder. She needs an agreement.
I feel like if I don't say something to Corey that, she's not going to know what I want. And a lot of times she even says, like, you need to tell me what you want. So I'm just putting that out there right now. So we'll finish up with all the individuals. If she listens. If she's listening. Yeah. If she's listening. Who knows?
Well, it's kind of like we talked about when you go to Home Dad Con, you set your wife up for success. You set your partner up for success.
Right. Yeah.
You set it up to like, okay, this is all you need to do. And I love you. I'm going to be gone. I know it's a big job, but here you go. I tell you tell them all the things they need. Same thing with Father's Day.
I agree.
And I know most dads that I know are just going, I don't care. I don't want to do anything. The thing about being a dad, being a parent, is it's sacrifice. And one of those sacrifices means that you need to give your children and your wife opportunities to show you that they love you.
Yeah. Set it up for success, man.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Tell your kids, hey, I want a ceramic ashtray. Do you remember those? When we were kids that we'd make, you make an ashtray at school.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was all malformed and stuff. And I'm like, we were making ashtrays because smoking was so prevalent.
Yeah. That usually came with an industrial arts teacher who was missing a finger, something along those lines, which I had one like that. So I totally I in junior high, I had an industrial arts class, and I think our teacher was missing like the tip of one of his fingers from such an occasion. So, but surprise me. I love being able to have said that I grew up in the generation that actually had an industrial arts class, like, because that's a non-existent thing in high school, it seems like these days, or in junior high for that matter.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot missing out, I think. And the things you can learn from a trade, it's very liberating. I mean, it's I told my kids, I said, I think you ought to just don't spend too much money, but take 6 months, take a course in whatever, plumbing, HVAC, something. Just go try it out if you're interested in it. And once you do it, you may not want to do it for a living, but now you've got that in your toolkit. You've got that for yourself as a person for the rest of your life. And somebody's going to have a question like, I don't know why my thermostat's blinking or whatever. And you just look at them and go, oh, well, you got to replace the battery. It's right here. Or you got to reprogram it or whatever. You'll be a genius compared to them just from like a few months in a trade school.
Well, I mean, I've run into situations where, older people, they're like, I don't have the money to buy, to pay a mechanic to do my brakes or something like that. I'm like, why not do brakes? And so they'll pay me a much smaller fee to do that. And that's something that I've learned over time. So I completely agree. I think that spending some time, and we've said that about our kids too. Like, you don't have to go rush off to college, like go join the military and learn some things, or go to a trade school, that kind of thing.
Or go around the world. Right. Go out. I don't want to have a lot of anxiety about my kids leaving the house. I'll admit it. But as a mature person, I want my kids to experience the world. Yeah. My cousin, his name is Ben, and he spent so much time traveling the world. He sent us pictures from Mongolia and where he was, and he just went out. I don't know how he got out there, what he did, but he was just out there learning the language, teaching people English, and drinking fermented mare's milk, which is just as nasty from what he said as it sounds like. But I was going to say, I don't know what that is, but that sounds horrible. It's alcohol. Yeah, I guess. And he really learned what cold was for the first time, and it's just so enriching to see how other people live and realize they're way more than like even just like a picture on Google. They're actually people that are living and doing it. And I want my kids to see all of that. Oh yeah. There was a guy that there was a kid that I interviewed back when I was doing the Nomad Dad podcast that he was driving around the country interviewing dads for a book that he was writing. Cool. And I ended up getting to talk to him right when he was near the end of his process. He was from like Michigan, I think. And when I talked to him, he had made it back home because his van had died on him. And he was going to finish the last bit by just riding his bike to the other locations that he needed to go to. I mean, he was determined to get it done. It was really cool. But it was just neat because I'm like, he had just graduated college and he really just was like, I just wanted to do this. And it was kind of and it sounded like it was like a bit of it was in honor of just his dad. And he wanted to learn like other things from other dads. Like, not every dad is the same cookie cutter dad. So it's like, going and meeting a dad who knows how to do XYZ thing. And then another dad who also has this, and then putting it all into a book. I need to check back and see if he ever finished the book and everything. Cause it was very intriguing. This was a couple of years ago. So he might've during COVID had time to work on it. Who knows? Well, and that's such a valuable thing. I mean, we've talked before about the value of men's groups in your life. We've talked about the value of having a mentor. Yeah. Having a resource where you can look at it and say, even if it's just, what does being a dad mean? Right. What do I have to look for? But getting that perspective of probably the older generation than you, that how they dealt with things, how they deal with things, and what that means to them, their sacrifice, what they love, their passions, and all that stuff about being a dad. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That sounds like a great book. So speaking of like, sort of like things you learn and whatnot, we were talking earlier about just like what we wanted to talk about on the show today. And you'd mentioned, this coming up here is Pride Month. Yeah. And I know absolutely nothing about it. I just put it all out there. Like, it's not something that's really been in my realm of culture or anything along those lines. But at the same time too, like I know, quite a few people that are from the LGBTQ community that, definitely
I'm friends with and support, but outside of that, I mean, it doesn't go anywhere. I know that it's something that is part of your family more than anything. Tell me a little bit about what this month means to you, and kind of what's going on in your family with Pride Month.
Well, the biggest thing is we're going to do our best to go to 2 different Pride parades. We're going to go this coming next weekend, when it'll be gone, I guess, when this episode comes out, but June 5th, 6th, I think we're going to go to Milwaukee. I've never been to Milwaukee, so that's a good opportunity. It's about 2.5 hours away, I'd say. So we're probably just going to drive out there. And it really, I mean, we've been to the Pride Parade in Atlanta, and Pride in Atlanta is huge. And I will say, for me, especially coming from a very, very conservative background, and growing up as a teetotaler, and so many things about my life that I was, no, we're not going to do anything, like, no, we're not even going to talk to people, no. And I had the opportunity in my life to really talk with other people from, well, like we talked about, if you get a chance to go around the world, you look at people in different communities that you didn't grow up with, and see why they think what they think, and how they say what they, why they say what they say. And the biggest thing is, for me, I love this question. I ask people all the time, well, what do you love? Because most people, their first question, what do you do for a living? But if you ask someone what they love, you're really going to figure out a lot more about who they are. Right. And not talking about, sex per se. And that may be what you love. Sure. Okay. But what you actually have heart for, where your heart sits, what stirs you to passion and what have you. And a lot of that has been people that in the LGBTQA plus community. And I'm going to call it the alphabet mafia, because my 15, almost 16-year-old son calls it that, my transgender gay son. I feel
like that's a way better way of putting it out there than trying to go through all the letters.
Yeah, it is, because I barely remember their names, man. I will mess up names, of my kids. I'll call them the dog's name. It has happened, but it was originally almost meant as a slur. Oh, you're the alphabet mafia. And I mean, if the people that I know that heard it were just like, oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Definitely the alphabet mafia. That's what I'm going for. So I don't mean it as a derogatory thing. I definitely don't mean it as a slur. My son and I laugh about it all the time. I bought him a sticker for his laptop for school that says alphabet mafia. Now he has like 300 on it, so I don't know if you can even read it on there anymore, but he loves stickers. So, but having the opportunity to go in Atlanta, we went before he even knew what he was. And he really didn't have any idea about gender before he was like 14. And I think we went when he was 12, but he had an understanding of, this is a really cool thing that I want to see. I want to think about, I want to learn about. And it really, he had fun, but it didn't really impact him. Yeah. It really didn't. He didn't come to me that like, oh, Dad, well, guess what? After going to the Pride Parade, I've learned that I'm gay or whatever. He didn't have any change in mindset about what he was doing. He loved being there, and it's a parade, and he got a bunch of beads and a bunch of candy and all that stuff. So it was a great moment for us, and it was raining, and we're standing in the rain together, laughing and having a good time and waving at everybody, and just a parade. Right. Yeah. But it started with that, I think, for me, because that was the year that I bought a free dad hugs t-shirt.
Oh yeah. That was
a free mom hugs was a huge thing for people that would be at the Pride Parade and just stand around and give out hugs to people who never got loved by their mom.
Yeah.
You can't imagine that.
That's a horrible feeling that you
I don't know. Yeah. That your mother says, oh, I don't believe what you are. I think you have mental illness, or, I think you're wrong, or you say you're this, well, we're going to pray the gay away or whatever. And that's all just so devastating to a child. So they had the free mom hug shirts out. And a lady, it like went viral about her being there at one of the parades. I don't remember which one, but so I went out and bought a free dad hugs, and it's got a picture of a smiley face with a mustache in the rainbow colors. Right. I got dad hugs, and it was cool. And every time I've worn it, I've had somebody hug me. And it's an understanding of, you're good. just like you are, just who you are. It's fine. There's no hate here for whatever you are, even if we don't understand it, even if we don't know the words for it, even if we don't have the ability to easily transition in our minds between, like with my son's pronouns or with his dead name. It took me a very long time to unconsciously call him by his new name.
Yeah.
Because this was my baby. I knew him in utero as a different name, and I spoke to him in the belly, like, "Hey, my baby, I'm singing to you." And I used his old name, So anyway, but we're going to try to go to Pride this coming weekend in Milwaukee, and then we're definitely going to go on the 25th and 26th, I think. Yeah, 25th or 26th in Minneapolis. So
you're going to two city dad cities then, basically.
Yep.
I wonder if like the Milwaukee guys,
I haven't heard anything from them.
Yeah.
It's been, it's COVID made kind of a huge impact on all the groups.
Oh, sure.
I think.
Yeah. It did.
Madison had a big group going, and it kind of, I don't see it anymore. You know, it may be just too, maybe like the algorithm, and I don't see it because I haven't gone looking for it, but
it's
everything's
definitely
gotten quieter.
Hard. Sure. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I just put it out there as like kind of curious. I might have to poke some of those guys and be like, "Hey, is anybody getting involved with this?" Because it'd be great to see city dads, organizers and some, the dads that are there, like showing up to that kind of thing, and
standing around on a free dad hug shirt,
right?
Whatever.
Exactly. That's what we need. We need a free dad hug shirt with the city dads logo slapped on there.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. So that would be pretty cool. I'll have to get Matt and Lance on that one. That one's
I'm going next week. I wanted to make plans with a couple other dads that I know that are in that area. I know a lot of the guys around the
I was gonna say, it sounds like something that Kyle would be at.
I would say he probably is. Yeah. And Tim's going to be there. I would say
Tim
almost
too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Tim gave me, I think he already had a free dad hug shirt when he showed
Tim
me
McMichael. Yeah. He's had one for a while. I remember that.
I think he was first. I'll admit.
Yeah. But him and Kyle Thompson, I could definitely see. I mean, I know that they are very, like they're big advocates, and so I could definitely see them showing up to something like that. So that's really cool. But yeah, so Minneapolis is 2 days.
They're all 2 days, I think. One day it's like a 2-day festival, and I don't know which dates the parade is on, and that's just my lack of brain. I know it's one day or the other, but I can Google it real quick. But I know it's like June, I think 5th is for Milwaukee from what I'm looking at. And I'm not sure the Minneapolis because it says 25th, 26th, 10 to 6, Loring Park in Minneapolis.
So for somebody who's very ignorant of really like just the whole Pride and even just the Alphabet Mafia, like culture, learning it, what's so important about there being a parade, like, or even anything like what's the importance of that? What's the significance in it?
Being able to celebrate that you are who you are, just to be who you are, whoever that might be. And I'm a cishet white old male. This is just who I am, and I'm straight, and that's who I am, right? And I don't ever have to tell anybody. I don't ever have to fight for it. I don't ever have to say or apologize, which don't ever apologize for being who you are. But I don't ever have to go into a situation somebody gets offended because, I'm a cishet white guy, being able to go out as who you are should be as normal as it is for you and me. It should just be, this is who I am. And if you're non-binary, if you're, whatever, anything that you can imagine. Okay. Human beings have this huge versatility in who they are and how their mind works and who they love. Yeah. Okay. I've met people that are truly pansexual. I've met people that are, I forgot the word, but who love more than one person. Like where Marnie and I are in a monogamous relationship, and that's what we want.
Is that a poly?
Polyamorous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one right.
You got one. Yeah.
I got one.
But pride is so important because we're still not just giving people basic human rights. I don't want to get into Roe v. Wade. I don't want to get into the Supreme Court. I think this is all just very, very upsetting stuff. And I'll end up cussing and I'll probably hang up just because I'll be at that point. But it's so very important to be able to just walk down the street as whoever you are.
Yeah.
And be allowed to just be who you are. And then the other part of it, I mean, honestly, pride, it's a party. I mean, it's a music party. There's like a music festival, a parade. It's all of those fun, joyful, happy, loving times, Yeah. And it's not a sexual thing, although I'm sure there will be sexual things involved in it because it's you get kind of crazy sometimes. But I would say that with a concert, Billie Eilish comes to town. Okay, well, people are going to be doing stuff in the back. I just want to tell you, it's going to happen.
Right. Right.
But the importance of pride comes down to the ability to be who you are and then also to connect with other people. Because if we don't give people the words to describe what they are, if we tell children, no, you're either A or B, no, there's nothing else, then they will pick one that closely resembles who they are. And maybe they're neither one. So giving them not only the verbiage, just like we teach them to be emotionally self-aware, we give kids the words. You need to understand this is what anger is. This is what frustration is. This is what happiness is. This is what joy is, right?
Yeah.
In that same way, we have to have an ability or a way to teach our kids, well, this is what I've experienced. This is what I know. And this is the other things that are out there. And be willing to trust our children, which is tough because they're our babies.
Right.
But to trust our children to be able to determine, oh, well, this is what I am. I look at it religiously. For me, I really wanted to raise my kids with an understanding of Christianity and like true Christian lifestyle, not a specific religion, and definitely not the browbeating Pharisees and Sadducees you see in a lot of churches these days.
Yeah.
But my son said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm an atheist. And this is why. And it hurt, but I want you to, and that was it for me. I wanted him to love God like I love God.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to let that go because he is his own person. Now he's only 15, almost, he'll be 16 like next month or in July. And he has such a good understanding. He's very mature, surprisingly mature. So I'm not going to say this would work for every 15-year-old, but I know that if he tells me he is something, that it would be just like if you told me, and in that same vein, I would let you be who you are. If you said you were agnostic or something, I would say, okay, cool. Tell me about that. What happened? What's the change? And that's what I did with him. And pride helps open up that conversation. Pride helps people who walk around school, as an example, and don't know where they fit. I don't have a word for what I feel. I do like this person. I'm attracted to this person. I'm also attracted to this person. And what does that make me? Because there's no word for that yet. And fortunately, in the 2000s, we have those words and we have places where people can celebrate that they are what they are.
Yeah. So. Man, that's, I think too, like it's so much, I don't know. I feel like there's a much more open conversation about it than back when we were kids, honestly.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So that's, I guess, another part, like for me, like that's what I see as far as different kids, not so much at the school that my kids go to, but just at other public schools and stuff. You see things like I was witnessing. There was a big issue with like a school board basically killing a pride day for the school, something that they had done previously. And because of just how the politics have gone over the past couple of years with everything, this new school board basically just completely was like, nope, not happening. We're not doing it at all. And then like the school, like the kids, like, they were like, so you're going to completely just try to cancel everything that is going on here, like, and try to sweep it under the rug. And I felt really bad for them because, anybody else, any other organization that's going on in the school is going to get their space.
Absolutely. Yep.
And honestly, like, legally, if you're giving space to one group, you have to give space to all groups. Like, that's actually a legal thing that I've seen. I remember, I think it was at my high school, they were like, well, if we are going to open up the ability for these things to take place, like, for instance, like, see you at the poll, is a big one, is a big, morning of prayer type thing. When it was pouring rain, they let the kids come in and do that actually inside the school in the library. And man, there was a huge uproar about it, because they were like, wait a minute, if you're going to allow this group to come in and do this, you have to allow every group that wants to come in and do like these things. And it can't just be like, oh, we let them in because of inclement weather type of deal, because, they can stand out in the rain just like anybody else. And I'm like, I completely agreed with them. Even though I was a part of that group, I was just like, yeah, like, you can't treat one way and one another way and call that okay. So, so I'm glad that it's something that's, that there's more freedom, but there's still a lot to be fought, and making it easier for individuals to feel seen and heard, and have the ability to have a place in society and feel safe in it. So
yeah, hopefully the safety is a big part of it too for me.
Oh yeah,
being a dad, I'm really concerned of what people might do to my son, because he doesn't fit what they think he should fit. He's not a square peg for their square hole. And I've seen some of the horrible things that have happened to people just because they're different. Yeah. An almost xenophobic thing that we have, especially in small towns, especially in, I will say Midwest is kind of not exactly the most progressive place I've ever been. And it's concerning. Yeah. It's concerning because, we're the new kids. They're there to, I should say, the new kids in school, and that's going to get you bullied anyway. But then also, oh, you want to be gay? Oh, well, yeah, we're going to, the slurs come out, and, it's had its rough moments, but fortunately my kids are fairly resilient and they can handle it. But it's, is my kid going to end up disappearing because he didn't want to be a girl, or he's not a girl, I guess is a better way to put it. But anyway, that'll get depressing real quick. Yeah. So anyhow, Pride should be awesome. I'm hoping to take my kid.
That's great.
And I think I'm only taking Fabian. I'm not sure who else might want to go, but I'm probably not going to be able to handle it with more than one kid there. Right. Because it's a strange city and it's a bunch of people. And, I'm not going to take my 7-year-old because I'd lose her. I just feel like she'd let go of my hand and then poof, she disappears in a crowd. I'm like, no, I can't handle that. And you stay home.
So many colors.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's and what it's I know be. She loved parades. She'd like, look at the parade. Because
I missed them handing out those. I need to go get one of those.
That's right.
It's really colorful.
I'm going to run down that alley.
Yeah. Right.
To follow that guy that's got the beads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink and purple, my favorite color, and gone.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't. My anxiety is too. It's too bad on a normal day, much land. But this will probably just me and Fabian going to head out and
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then also this month for June, on the same day as Father's Eve, we were talking about this, is Juneteenth, which I don't know much about it. I feel like I need to spend some time reading some things, especially Juneteenth. You had mentioned it, and I don't really know a lot about it. So I think I just need to spend some time actually reading up on what the significance of that day even is. And I feel like that's something where if anybody else is in a place where they're like, I have no idea what that is. One, I think we both can agree, like we were talking about it, don't go ask someone of color what that is, because you need to do your own bit to educate yourself. I feel like it's the same thing with you're not going to go to a Jewish person and ask them about the Holocaust or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, you should go learn about it. Like,
but we should just give a basic so people understand that if they don't have any idea what it is. Juneteenth is a celebration or a commemoration.
Commemoration.
I think. Yeah. Commemoration of emancipation it was, and I'm going to look this up because I never remember the year. Originated in Galveston, Texas in 1865. So it's been around for a while, and we're just now learning about it. That's great.
Yeah, that's real bad. Yeah,
that's my
that
history.
makes me feel even worse. Thanks.
But the observance of June 19th as the African American Emancipation Day.
Wow. Okay.
And it was the official. There was one that was General Order Number 3, and I knew this before. But it began with the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation of the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free.
Wow.
Period.
Okay.
And it's a day that we really need to remember because, 1865, wow, that was so long ago. Was it? It was 60 years, which is a long time. But
that's not a long time.
In the life of our country, that's nothing. Yeah, that's just yesterday.
Well, that's the
like
thing too.
Late last week.
Yeah, right. Oh, and that's the thing too. Like, our country is so young, and people don't seem to like that. Does not seem to strike very many people that we are a young country.
Yeah. Well, we're the loudest kid on the block. Everybody assumes we're more mature than we look.
Yeah, usually babies are loud.
That's right. There you go.
Or toddlers, for that matter.
And sleeping like it.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so wow. Yeah, because I remember, what was it? I think it was the show Hell on Wheels. It was right after, I think it took place like right after the emancipation, because you had a bunch of Southerners working on the railroad, coming into contact with a bunch of former slaves who were also working on the railroad, trying to make their ends meet. And I mean, it was the show has got such a raw depiction of the time.
Oh yeah.
Those who agreed with it, those who didn't agree with it, those who were actually like owners of slaves who were trying to change their ways because they realized like it wasn't the right thing. So, but yeah, it is wild that, here we are in 2022, and one, it doesn't seem to get taught, and two, it's not something that is being like, hey, like, you should learn about this. Like, this is something you should know. Yeah. So that's another reason why I said, like, I just need to go get me, like, even just I'd be happy with even just a small little history book where I could read up on the majority of what's going on through the years. Cause I love that with, you can get those condensed history books that have the base information that might have other
timeline that just gives you this was this. Yeah. And the interesting thing for me is to always see what else was going on in the world at that time. What else happened, let's say in 1865. Yes. And it blows my mind, to understand that, wait, that happened at the same time, or like when the pyramids were built, this was going on, that kind of thing. Because of the understanding of what our country was doing. And it's not just America. I mean, slavery has been a thing throughout the world, and it's awful, period, hands down. But the fact that we never learned about it, just never learned about it.
No,
and it's something that it's really interesting for me, because having lived in Georgia for so long, learned about the Civil War, walked the fields of battle where they were fought literally, and having been in that area and still not really even knowing all the facts, learning so much every time I have a kid that goes through that era, I learn more. I pick up more stuff. I'm like, oh, wow. So that was going on too, or this was happening. Yeah. And our need to teach history, because as the old saying goes, those who don't remember history tend to repeat it.
Yep.
Right. And that is not what I want. No, not going to happen. So, and we won't get onto that because that's very political that I want to get into.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That is a whole nother can of worms.
Just got a little vein popping out on the side of my head. Let's not, But we've seen a lot lately in productions, in series and TV shows and things of that nature, where they show a much more factual, actual experience of what was going on. you know, and like I've gone back and watched, my favorite movie from like, the 80s or whatever. And it's so misogynistic and it's so racist. And I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm going to have to turn this off because it's horrifying. And yet at the time, it was nothing. It's like, oh no, this is fine. He calls her sweetheart all the time. It's just what you do. You call a woman sweetheart. That's fine. What? My mom just come out of the grave and slap me for that one. That is not allowed. Well,
it's the same thing with like movie ratings and stuff too. Like, you get some movie where it's like, oh, like that was PG back in like the 80s. Like you look at it now, it's like that's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah,
easily.
That one stepped up a little bit. I don't think I can watch that one. Yeah,
I'd say
anything that's a lot more.
Yeah, I'd say like almost any of them. Like it was like that was one rating goes up. Like even some of the stuff that was considered G, like like it fits into more of a PG rating. Just what's in there. So that we were talking about that this weekend when I was camping with my family because we were talking about Top Gun. and whether or not we should wait until the youngins went to bed before turning it on to watch. And mainly just because like it was like I think it was like language, which I was like, I'm not worried about that one. My kids have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. And then they were like, the violence would be like, Goose dying. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Talk to me, Goose.
I know, right? But and then we were debating whether or not there was like an actual like sex scene in the movie, and we all came to the conclusion that there was like a scene, but there's like nothing there. And then of course when the kids went to bed and we watched it, it was funny. We were all making fun of that because like that scene is probably one of like the stupidest like sex scenes ever filmed. I feel like in some ways, it's pretty bad. But anyway,
at the time, Top Gun, and even now, I would still go watch it. I'm like, go watch.
Oh, sure, I mean, you can't not watch Top Gun.
You went to see the new movie?
Actually, we already did.
Oh, you did. I saw a picture of that.
So since we were camping and my nephews are there and one of them is a sophomore in high school, I was like, hey, like, can the kids just hang out with you guys for a few hours? And he was like, yeah. And I mean, we didn't say anything about it. We ended up giving him $20 for hanging out with them or whatever. But yeah, we got to go see the movie and it's excellent. Like, I mean, if you're a fan of Top Gun, like it's great. So I won't give anything away on it, but it's like, it just has like, I feel like everything that I wanted it to be, it was.
Good.
And so it just, it hit all the marks. Grady and I were talking about it last night because he went and seen it as well. And we were nitpicking over a couple of little scenes that we were just like, oh, like these were kind of like weak points to it or almost like even funny type of things of like how they went about it. But regardless of that, like it's a great movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to it. Marnie actually suggested we go see it on, I think, Saturday. But
man, if you go see it, make sure you see it in Dolby Digital or some kind of really
giant
good
sound.
Yeah,
giant
and make
screen,
sure you're sitting in the center somewhere, like so you're not like so that you're getting all the speakers. We went to a smaller theater and it didn't have the greatest sound system, but we only paid $5 a piece to go to it, so it was still worth it. Corey was like, we need to go to like one of the nice theaters here in Cincinnati and go see it again. And I'm like, yeah, but I was like, you have to sit in the middle of the theater versus at the top because that's usually where she likes to sit at just because of her migraines and stuff. But I was like, even if we sat like 5 rows below where we typically sat at, we'd still be in like range of the speakers and get to feel all that. So we're gonna have to pick a different time and go again because there are quite a few scenes. I need to feel the rumble of those engines. So
I already told Marnie, I said we should really look into investing in a sound system, like get something that's going to have, maybe not professionally installed because I don't know if I could afford that, but to save up some money for like Christmas or whatever and just get something where we can watch these movies and feel it just like raw,
Just get you a nice Bluetooth system. You don't even need, that's the thing. Like you don't need a new expensive system anymore. Like you can Bluetooth it all to your TV. So, I mean, you get a subwoofer and, get some little
And-
like tweeter speakers for the corners. You're set.
I want, and this is for multiple reasons, one VR, one for gaming, but also for movies. If I could, I want a Woojer vest. It's a haptic vest.
Does that give you the vibration?
Woojer and
like...
yeah, you can feel like rain falling on you. You can feel for gaming, you can feel like people shooting you, or whatever.
Okay, now you're getting too much. Wait, now you're getting too much into the. Wait,
no. Ready Player One is where we need to live.
Oh Lord,
that's where we need to be, man.
See,
come on.
Now you're getting into the whole like Demolition Man. Like,
let's go. Yeah. Wow. Fire up the Wayback Machine, Sherman. Demolition Man. Let's go.
I love Demolition Man. Okay, like there's so many things nowadays. Like I see.
What's with the 3 shells?
What's with the 3 shells?
Yeah. I still don't know. I like one's.
I have no idea.
Paper? I don't know. One's a bidet, I'm sure.
I felt so bad. Like that should have been an extra scene at the end of that movie.
Like, someone figured it out.
Yeah. Or just Rob Schneider's character explaining.
Yeah, Rob explaining. Yeah, telling Sylvester Stallone. Well, okay, so this one is for this one's, and then Sylvester Stallone being like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense."
I really wish there was. There are some movies where it's like there needed to be an extra scene at the end, and that definitely is one of them. So, but yeah, I love Demolition Man. That movie is so good. It was such a movie that like just still holds well. Well, yeah, I comment in so many different ways about like different things I see in society. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so close to Demolition Man. This is kind of creepy.
Almost every time I get into a vehicle and I think about, like airbags and things like that, anytime something like that comes up in a conversation or whatever, I always think about when he crashed that car and it immediately filled with foam. It was immediately filled with styrofoam. So he couldn't move and it did not get hurt in the crash or whatever. And then it just broke off and he just stepped out of it. And I'm like, I don't know how that works. Of course it doesn't, but that's genius. And I always think, man, I would love to have like a styrofoam thing. It's boom. Okay. Car stopped moving. Time to get out of the styrofoam. It floats, you go in the river. It's okay. It'll bring you back up. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. It's Demolition Man.
Yeah. Demolition Man for sure.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, we had a lot of trouble getting started tonight, so we're a little bit over.
Hey, at least we made it work.
But we did it. We did it. And if anybody's listening all the way to the end, I want to tell you guys this is like our grind. This is the times we're like, man, I just think they'll do it tonight. And yet both of us, neither one of us says it. Both of us look at the other guy like, no, we're not quitters. We're gonna finish this.
Hit record.
Let's hit record and let Danny talk about pride. Oh, he's gone.
Hey, I was just like, man, I talk all the time. I had to let you shine on that one for sure. Yeah. So
I appreciate it. And I love to talk, but I also love to listen. So it works out.
It's all good. Well, I'm headed off to Alabama at the end of the week for a 4-day camping trip. So I'm sure I'll have lots to talk about when I get back, especially space camp.
Oh, you're going to space camp. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
We're going down that way. We're going to be just outside of Huntsville. So,
all right. Yeah.
So I have lots to talk about when I get back.
I was going to say, I don't see any reason to go to Alabama to camp, but space camp.
The state park we're staying at has a cavern. It's the Cathedral Cavern. So I'm curious to see what this is like compared to like Mammoth Cave and things like that. So we'll see. You didn't grow up in Ohio. You grew up in Indiana. I did. Right? I grew up in Indiana. Right. Yep.
So was there a state next to Indiana that your state just hated? Just like maybe I don't do that.
No, but not really.
Like this, I know. It happens in other states. I'm not going to make examples because they're going to use the wrong states.
Only in Ohio.
Georgia doesn't like Alabama.
Michigan. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, Ohio doesn't like Michigan and vice versa.
Like, there you go. Yeah. It's like, why do the trees in Georgia lean to the west? Because Alabama sucks. Okay. And that's what I grew up on. All right. I don't want to make too much fun of them because, their state capital caught on fire. That was awful. Burnt slap down to the axles. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I grew up on.
Man,
so going to Alabama? All right.
We're going to Alabama. Eventually, we'll make it to Georgia too. Okay, calm down. Yeah. We're planning on hitting them all.
Georgia to see either, but
I want to go to the aquarium in Georgia.
You go to Stone Mountain.
I want to go to the aquarium in Georgia.
The aquarium is awesome.
Yeah, that's the big thing that we want to go to. So.
We're gonna find some dads down there who want to set up a convention
in Georgia,
in Atlanta.
Ooh, that would be cool. We need to work on
the aquarium. We go to Stone Mountain. I don't know if the Stone Mountain's the best place because they do still have the Confederate monument inscribed on the side. They haven't blown that up yet. But the mountain itself is awesome.
I'll have to check
And it's
that out.
the
Okay.
world's largest piece of granite. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It actually goes completely under the city. It's pretty cool.
Wow. That is a big
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, it's a big piece.
Well, cool.
But
Well, we'll
anyway.
have more stories for the next episode then to talk about.
well,
So
I'm looking forward to hearing about Alabama.
I'm looking forward to hearing about the Pride
Pride.
parade. That'll be interesting. So
Go see my dad's there. All right, man.
cool, man. Well, till next time, y'all have a good one.
Yep, yep. Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.